I'm not attracted to my wife anymore. My wife and I have been together 10 years and married for 8. We have 2 beautiful children and I love the family we've built together. Before children my wife and would be intimate daily, but at the very least most days of the week. We had our first kid about a year and a half after marriage and other than the recovery time we still remained fairly intimate. Although I started working an extremely physically demanding job right before my kid was born so I was exhausted most days. A few years later she became pregnant again, but we lost the baby at 11 weeks. This is when everything started to go downhill fast. She stopped having a regular menstrual cycle, with 3+ months between in some cases. She no longer wanted to have sex, which is understandable, but she also stopped showing me any sort of physical or emotional affection. She began setting up physical boundaries between us in bed, on the couch, refused hugs and turned her head to my kisses. Eventually she wanted to try for another kid, but by then I've become so emotionally and physically unattached that it's gotten to the point I have a hard time finishing. A few months after starting to try again we finally get the positive test. Baby born 9 months later and has been the most clingy, difficult infant I've ever seen. My wife is the only one to get the baby to stop crying, the only one that can hold it, and I honestly think she honed in on that because she focused her entire everything into the baby. She kept up all her barriers, still refused to hug and turned her head to my kisses. She wants sex constantly but refuses to hug me or kiss me unless it's sexual. I feel used and unloved. It's been 3 years since my youngest was born and it still has not changed. There is still a pillow between us in bed, she still doesn't kiss me on the lips or hug me unless she wants sex. By the end of the day when we have more time for each other she says she's overstimulated from both kids needing her all day. I try to combat that as much as I can by sending her on weekend trips and keeping the kids with me for hours after work so she can have quiet time. But because she refuses to set boundaries with the kids she is immediately overwhelmed within a day or two of coming back. Because of all this I feel like I've lost my emotional and physical attraction to her. I feel like I'm only a part of the family to be used for my money, house, and for sex. It's gotten so bad that one of those Snapchat bots attempted to friend me, saying good morning, babe. Click here for a good time. And even though I knew it was fake and a scam it made my heart feel warm and loved. I've talked to my wife about how this all makes me feel and it doesn't seem to affect her.